So all day, I've been trying to like figure out like what's something, just to try to like be more active on my story. I've been trying to think of like what's something that I can share with y'all that y'all don't usually get to see. And all day I'm trying to think like what don't y'all get to see? Like I really pretty much like what don't y'all get to see basically, right? And I get to the end of the night and I just finished my sermon and just finished like taking notes, like reflecting on what I like heard and taking notes. I'm like, that's the part that y'all don't get to see. Like, that's what people don't get to see. So I just watched a sermon, which I'm going to drop the link. It's so good. Please listen to it. If you know Myron Golden, then you know, like, he's different. But if you don't know, then he basically teaches business principles, but he teaches them strictly from the Bible. Like, he is teaching you, like, he going to break it down. He got the word to back him up, and it all checks out, if I'm being honest. But he also, and like, he coaches, he says he has a coaching program to teach other people stuff that the Bible is teaching you for free, right? And I love that for him. I love that for me. But I say all of this to say, he literally charges so much money for this material, but when he like speaks like at a church, he does it free. And I understand why he does it free, because it's like, it's God's word. How can he really charge for it, right? But in his business, he gets to do that, and he is doing amazing with it. So I hope y'all just catch what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I'm like, that is what y'all don't get to see. So I was listening to him preach. I was listening to him preach at a church. This is not something that he charges for to preach at God's, like, preach God's word in God's house. He doesn't charge for that, but he charges literally the same exact information. He has his own business, and he's doing amazing at it. I love him. Like, he really breaks it down a lot. But anyways, I was listening to his sermon, and basically, it was like a smile. What was it? What did I title it? Oh, a smile for your trials. Like, I know he calls it something else, but I'm gonna drop the link so that you can watch the video that I'm talking about. But when I say it was so good, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to share my notes with y'all, like the sermon that I watched, the notes that I gathered for it. That's what I'm gonna be sharing on Thursdays. Like the sermon that I watched, the link to the sermon that I watched, and the notes that I got. And maybe you'll go watch it, maybe you won't. But you tell me what you got from it. Maybe we can have a conversation about it. So yeah, that is what Thursdays are gonna be now. That's the thing that y'all don't really get to see from me. And mind you, I watched this first, or I listened to it first, and I took notes afterwards. So I don't remember everything, but I remember the points that really stuck with me to be able to make these notes after the fact. So I'm going to share those points with you. So I don't remember which book in the Bible he was teaching out of. I think it was Joshua. I don't know. But I'm going to still give you the words. And if you watch this video, if you click the link, go to his sermon, you'll know the book in the Bible that he's talking about. I got to remember, because I got to study that book next. But the first note I got is basically trouble is coming. That sounds so dark. But basically, trouble is coming. God already told us that in his word. Like, God already it's like really God's already given us the promise. So we know that it's coming. Like, we know that trouble is coming. Like, when we see stuff in the news, or if you like, even if it's not that deep, like, not even into the world as far as if you see something in the news, but just like if you are going after something within your own life, meaning like you have a goal that you're trying to accomplish in your own life, trouble is coming. Like, trouble is going to follow. Like, that's one thing that he also says. He says disruption immediately follows intention. Like, when you have an intention to do something, just go ahead and know. God already told us that trouble is going to come. Disruption is going to come. So go ahead and keep that in your pocket. Baby, I know I got this plan. I know I got this goal. I know you right here. Like, I know trouble is right here. I know trouble is going to come, and it's going to continue to come, right? So that's the first part that I got. That's why, like, God tells us to be consistent and to be persistent when trying to gain that wisdom. And you gain that wisdom like through applied knowledge. You gain that knowledge through like doing. Like, you don't really know something until you do it. You don't really have wisdom in that thing until you've done it multiple times, and now you get to learn something else. I hope that don't go over your head. But God is saying, like, to be consistent and to be persistent with that. You need to be consistent because it's long. It's a long process. That's when you need consistency, because it's gonna take a long time before you see results. So God said to be consistent when going after wisdom, because you're gonna have to go through maybe the same lesson 1,000 times before you actually learn it. But still count that as good, because that's wisdom. That's God preparing you for who he's called you to be. So God said be consistent and to be persistent. So you need to be consistent because it's a long road, but you need to be persistent because it's hard. Like, it is hard. Like, maybe not the thing that God is telling us to do is what's hard, but doing the thing that God has told us to do while life is still happening, because life does not stop happening to you just because you say, I believe in God and I have a dream. No, Martin Luther King died, right? So you still gotta go through something. That was a little too much, but that's what God is saying, like, be consistent and to be persistent. You gotta be consistent because it's gonna be long. It's gonna be a long road. And you gotta be persistent because that long road is gonna be hard, because things are gonna be, that disruption is going to follow after you. Each time it's following you because you have an intention to do exactly what God has told you to do, right? But God still said, that's what was good for me. God still said, when that happens, and I'm telling you it's going to happen, count it as good. Not like it's good, basically. It is good. God is saying, when that stuff happens to you that I'm telling you is going to happen to you, it's good, because this is how I am preparing you to be who I've called you to be, to sit in the rooms that I've called you to sit in, to stay in rooms that I've called you to stay in, to walk out of rooms that I called you to walk out of. You have to be able to go through this thing consistently and persistently. And you get to go through it consistently and persistently because God said that it's good. Like, you got to keep that in your mind. Like, and I get it, baby. When you going through the thing, it be hard sometimes to be like, this is for my good. If I'm just being honest, it be hard. Like, I'm like, ugh. Or you can have gone through the thing and you going through it with a good mind, but it's still going on. Like, you're still on that path and you're like, all right, God, I know you told me to be consistent because the road is long. I know you told me to be persistent because the road is hard. I've been real persistent, but God, I don't know how much more consistency I got in me, right? So that's losing sight of the wisdom that God is telling you to gain. You gain wisdom by going through the thing, right? And God is saying, be consistent in it, be persistent in it. And if you forget, I was out. And if you not even if you forget, because you don't really forget, we know. A lot of us know, we just don't be applying. We know what we're supposed to do. You know you're supposed to be consistent and be persistent. But if you just feel like you just really just do not have that in you to be consistent or to be consistent or persistent anymore, like if you're feeling like I can't be disciplined, because that goes with consistency, or if I can't be like faithful, I guess, like full of faith to know that weeping may endure in the morning, but joy comes in the morning. Weeping may endure in the night, but joy comes in the morning. Like, if you can't be like, if you really cannot do that, and I get it, because there's sometimes in certain situations you're just like, I don't have it in me. God said, then do it exactly how Jesus do it. Like, I don't know, maybe it's me, but I do love when I see somebody doing something and I'm like, I can do it. I can do that. And not only do I feel like I can do that, that person that came and showed me how to do it. Like, I'm the kind of person, if you show me, I'm going to figure it out anyway just by watching you. I am, because that's just who I am. But baby, if you show me step A, B, C, like, hey, this is what you do for A, this is what you do. And I know people don't owe you that, but if you do that, baby, you're not wasting your time with me, because that's really all I'll be needed. It take me a long time to learn it by, like, wisdom, like going through, like, God refining me. But if you tell me to do it and you tell me how to do it, I'm going to do it exactly like that, period. As long as it makes sense to me, right? But God is saying, if you can't do that, then do it exactly how Jesus did it. When Jesus died on the cross, literally, if you think about it, just think about it. Jesus, someone who's never sinned, who's never done anything wrong, like literally in real world, he was a real person. Like, he never did anything wrong. Y'all know we sin every day. But he never did anything wrong. He went and hung on that cross, literally hung on that cross. I know it hurt. Okay. But anyways, he literally hung on that cross with sinners, for sinners, just because he knew God is using this for good. God is literally about to allow me, who've never sinned, to die for your sins. That means you get to sin and still come to heaven. I did not sin. So, like, because I just hope that didn't go over your head. But God is saying, basically, if you just can't be consistent and like, if you can't remember to count that as wisdom, to be able to allow yourself to be consistent and persistent. Like, if you mentally cannot grasp it, I am continuing to go through this thing. I am continually going through this thing, or I am continually But like I am continuously either going through this one thing, or I am continuously going through things because, you know, God said you can go through them trials and tribulations that's coming, right? Then do it exactly how Jesus did it. Jesus knew, like, he literally suffered because he knew that God's plan was way bigger than the now. And I think that is so good that God gave us that example. These are all notes that I got out of his sermon. So please go watch it, because y'all probably going to watch the sermon and be like, Jazz literally took everything that this man said. I literally did, because he got it from God. So I ain't really took his words. I just took God's words. Anyways, if you really cannot fathom how to do that, then just do it exactly like Jesus did. And I say all that to say, like, I love to copy the cat. As long as it's the right cat, I love to copy the cat. Like, show me how to do it, because I'm going to do it just like that. I'm not about to try to remix it, two-step it, crisp. I'm not about to do none of that. If you show me the plan, I'm going to follow the plan, because the plan work. Right? Right. So God said, if you just can't fathom how to, you know, count it as wisdom, count it as joy while you're gaining the wisdom, then just do it how Jesus do it. Literally mirror him, copy him, like literally like mimic everything that he did. If you just got to put your body in robot mode, do it like Jesus did it. And I thought it was so good. And then the last thing I remember it talking about, the sermon talking about, was he gave the example of just like treat wisdom as like silver and gold, like how they make silver and gold, which I don't remember exactly how he broke it down, but how I interpreted it, like how they make silver and gold, they literally burn it. Like they burn the silver and gold, they put it in the fire, it heats up, they take it out, and it's like they separate the bad stuff from it, and now they're left with this. So then they put it back in the fire, then they take it out, they take away the bad stuff, separate it, then they put it back in the fire. And they do that 7 times. And after the 7th time, it's like perfect. And guess what? After it's perfect, guess what? They put it back in the fire. So basically, God is saying don't ever stop learning and applying. Don't ever stop learning the knowledge and applying so that you can gain the wisdom. Don't ever stop of life, of situations, even if it's the same situation. Don't ever take yourself out of trying to understand, like, what is this trying to teach me, to gain that wisdom, because it doesn't stop until you're sitting on the throne, sitting on like beside the throne with them. Like, it don't stop. So don't ever stop trying to see things for what they are versus what they are. Like, see things deeper than what you see with your eyes. That's what I'm saying. Like, just try to understand life. I really hope that made sense. I want y'all to go watch the sermon. It was really good. And yeah, like I said, this is what I'm going to be doing on Thursdays. It's like the part of me that y'all don't get to see is that, like I said, I be turning up. I'm still, a little ratchet. I'm still working on me. I do be working. But I love God. When I say, like, I pray, I talk to God, like, that's the part y'all don't get to see. Like, y'all might get to see, like, the mom Jazz, or even, like, the entrepreneur Jazz, or just, like, learning, going through life. Like, but I really do pray. I really do have a relationship with God. It's not, in my opinion, it can always get better. Like, it's not always the best, because I'm not perfect. I do not do everything perfect. And sometimes I get mad. And when I get mad, there has been times when I took that out on my relationship with God, and it didn't do nothing but hurt me. But still, I say all that to say, like, that's the part y'all don't get to see. Like, this is a part of me too. So on Thursdays, I think that we can do this together. Like, I can show y'all. And if you decide to go watch the sermon that I put the link in, maybe you can talk to me about it. What did you get from it? What was your notes? We can talk about it together.